This is Eric Dell with the American Bakers Association. This is my second BEMA convention. I'm excited to be here. And the one thing I love about the baking industry are the people and what they create.
Hi, my name is Kristen Spriggs. I'm the Executive Director for the American Society of Baking. This is my second BEMA convention, and I absolutely love gathering with new friends and getting to meet their families and special guests. One thing I really love about this industry is the innovation and the mix of the art plus science that it requires in baking. So thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Kelly Knowles, representing the Grain Foods Foundation and Snack International. I'm thrilled to be here, and this is my third BEMA conference. I would say the thing that I love the most about our industry are the terrific relationships that I've built throughout my career. This really is one of the best group of people who work in American business.
Hey, good afternoon, BEMA. I am Glenn Long. I am the Senior Vice President of PMMI, the Association for Packaging and Processing Technologies. We are most known for the Pack Expo family of trade shows and our magazines Packaging World and Pro Food World. This is my third BEMA convention, and my favorite thing about the baking industry is the networking opportunities and the opportunities it affords everybody when they get together in venues like this. So thanks for having me.
Aren't those videos fun? I think Bill Quigg obviously wins the prize for creativity.
Yeah, thanks for sending that after we drank last night.
I know, they did get their video link a little late last night. You could have really run with that, Glenn. So there's a lot of talk about strategy, strategic initiatives, be very focused and deliberate about the work throughout all of our associations. So I want to give each of you a platform to really tell the audience about one primary strategic initiative that your association is focused on and what you're really hoping to achieve.
Where are we starting?
Kerwin Brown, kick it off.
Thanks a lot. I would say, for us, I might have two, but this meeting is certainly very, very important to us. But I'd say recently that Nexus initiative was a big deal for us. Starting it from scratch, partnering with ABA on it was a huge endeavor for us, and it was really great to see the industry come out and support us and be a part of it. So excited about that and growing that, in the future. So
bring it on down the line.
All right, we'll go down the line. Thanks for having us, Kerwin, Emily, the entire BEMA team. We enjoy working together.
Yeah.
So thank you for having us and this opportunity to talk. I think one of the things I would say around our strategic plan, what we're working on that we're excited about is helping create the industry as a destination workplace. We hear over and over again the challenges of the industry and folks looking for workers and looking to employ those people in their communities who want to work, and helping that just create that destination workplace for the industry, and that includes working, bringing a lot of your HR professionals together with working groups that we're going to have, and other stakeholders in Congress and state legislators, as well as communities of veterans, communities of historically black colleges and universities potentially, and our community colleges. So just bringing a lot of stakeholders together to ensure that you can have access to the workers and ensuring that they can have a fruitful career by coming to the baking industry.
Yes, thank you indeed for having us. We are really excited at ASB about workforce development. So as Eric talked about the workforce initiatives, for us it's really about training and offering certified courses that can really be focused on your frontline, your bakers. We know we're not getting enough students graduated from our baking programs fast enough. So the ability to train the workforce, and then for us also at ASB to be a partner in the retention side of it as well, because once you get them into the industry, we know that it's very costly to have that turnover to train them and then to lose them. So for us, with the mentoring programs and the communities and the volunteer opportunities, that's our strategy to help the bakeries be able to retain those employees. We also are really focused on bite-sized education. We know that today's fast-paced world is not going to allow us to send people off for weeks at a time to in-depth courses. So we've really got to be able to meet the need of bite-sized, real-time, in-the-moment type of training, both a combination between online and, as we like to say, hands and dough, where you can get that education as well. So our goal to serve 10,000 plus industry professionals by 2030. It's aggressive. Anybody who's on the membership and marketing committee knows it's aggressive, but we are focused and a great vision behind it.
Well, thanks. It's an honor to be here today with all of these industry leaders on the stage representing the Grain Foods Foundation. I would like to note we're led by Erin Ball, who is the executive director, and she would have loved to have been here, but is at a nutrition conference scouting new members of our scientific advisory board. So the foundation is a private foundation funded by industry and works to combat the misinformation that's running rampant about the category, whether it's low-carb diets, GLP-1s, you know, all the headwinds that we're facing. And so we're funded privately through baking, milling, and supplier organizations like all of you. But one of the initiatives that we're currently taking on is developing a 501c3 arm to our foundation, so a public charity. We're going to maintain our foundation and our private status, but we're working to develop a public arm so that we can get fast-track approval, looking for grant funding and things like that. So I'm really excited to announce that we're under consideration thanks to 3 very generous contributions from A.B. Mowry, Corbion, and oh my gosh, I just forgot the last one.
It'll come to you in a
yes,
minute.
It'll come to me, and I'll make a special point to mention it. Parados, thank you. Parados, A.B. Mowry, and Corbion. So big thanks to those 3 companies for helping us launch that public initiative that I think is really going to help us in the space of nutrition research to promote the category. So we're very excited about that.
My thanks as well for having us. I'm Glenn from PMMI again, and what we did when we redid our strategy about 5 or 6 years ago was realize that a lot of the associations in our, what I call our sandbox, were operating without a whole lot of cooperation between them. So we actually created a group called Industry Association Services, and we now manage 6 other associations that are not ours. And the reason that we did that is because we felt like we were all better together than individually. And us being here at BEMA is one of those examples of really improved cooperation over the last several years. And it gives these associations an opportunity to actually do what they do without spending all of their funds to try to run their, what we call their back office, their administration. So one of our strategic goals has really been to try to improve our cooperation with other associations so that we can move the industry forward together. Right. So that's really been very helpful for us and been really great.
Well, Glenn, you really just queued up the next question, which is talking all about collaboration. We know that all of the groups represented on stage feel very strongly about collaboration and the positive impact it can have on the industry. So tell the audience about the collaborations that your association is currently participating in. I think there's a little bit of crossover right here on the stage and probably others that we don't know about yet. Kristen, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we do a lot of collaboration. In fact, it's one of our recently defined values. And when I came into this role 18 months ago, it was something that the board made very clear to me as a leader, which is one of my core values. So it was really easy for me to carry out that vision. Collaborating with everybody up here. So Eric and I, through the great vision of ABA and ASB's board, we are very collaborative in our training efforts. So one thing that we launched earlier this year was you can now obtain any of the ABA training through ASB, making the platform very accessible, real time, making it just really extending that reach. One of the other ways that we really see collaboration working is collaborating even outside of the baking industry. So for example, and I'm a longtime association professional, this has been nearly my entire career, is finding resources out there that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So for example, good manufacturing practices. There's tons of training out there that other association groups do, and they've already created. We don't have to create that. We can just bring it in, package it, and make it accessible to all of you. So we do that with the safety, several safety groups. So if you've seen our newsletters, you'll hear us talking about who we're collaborating with to bring those resources and make them just that much more accessible to everybody in the industry.
On the collaboration side, looking down to Glenn, I think PMMI and Glenn and Jim, early on several years ago, reached out and said, how can we work? Kind of kept opening that door, and then you guys have that whole section at PAC Expo where you invite other associations. I think that was one of the early, really kind of cross industry. It wasn't somebody in the baking. We feel like this is our sandbox a lot of times, but Glenn and Jim were really open to us to say, hey, how can we help? How can we collaborate? And so I started going to his events, he started going to my events, and that just began to sort of open the doors, and we continued to work on that. And then we think about this side of things, we're seeing that over just since the two of you guys have gotten in your positions, we're just seeing so many more opportunities with Nexus. And I think our events are sort of plates that we offer to the industry. And when we offer that up, it is our opportunity to put other people on that plate. IBIE is a plate. This event is a plate. And so, so we're asking, ASB to be more involved in the education of IBIE. And at Nexus, one of your guys presented a paper, Glenn. And so again, those are our plates that we can serve up to you guys, but also serve up to the industry and collaborate a lot more. So
I love that, Kerwin, because I came from outside the industry, and the industry that I worked in for many years was not collaborative like this. And it was such a beautiful, all of you create that environment for us, but it is such a beautiful thing that, going to one another's events and being here to support you as members, it's incredible.
I agree, and the collaboration is great. And our current chair, Bill Quigg, obviously Mr. Collaboration.
Mr. Bill, very passionate.
Mr. Collaboration, which fits right into what all of us are talking about and want to do together. I would say collaborating with BEMA and Nexus, and then with ASB, as Kristen mentioned, on the education front, but also on the fly-in, on our advocacy work, bringing bakers together with retail bakers and ASB, GFF in the research space, making sure that GFF and ABA are really complementing each other. We were talking about this last night on the research front, so that we're using your funds and your investments the best way we can, so we're not duplicating efforts, but really creating that value across different associations. Because you're right, Kristen, we need to all work together so we're not duplicating, and because there's a lot of different work that we're doing. Some of the same kind of buckets.
Very much so.
We can complement each other.
I thought the Pepsi presentation was really interesting because they're opening that technology up and offering it to anybody.
Right.
And that's what we learned. We've got the OpEx Leadership Network, and when our customers get together with members to develop these solutions, we make them available to everybody. There's just no point in not doing that. It's great for everybody. So we do that. We offer business intelligence where we cooperate and either present information or make it available to others. We're doing the Nexus, like you said, we'll offer a technical paper at Nexus again this year. So we're happy to do it, and we think, it's just better for everybody when it's done like that.
And all the boats rise together.
That's right.
Well, and I was talking, Bill Quigg and I got to spend lunch together a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, because he is very passionate about the collaboration side, and I asked him, maybe I should have him speak himself, but how does this work? And he talked a lot about lanes. As we continue to figure out our lanes, it's like if we feel like ASB is the leader in this area, you talked about bite size and all that. I feel like you guys are in the front of the lane, and then we're all sort of just helping you out. Wherever maybe we help promote it. Same way with GFF.
Yeah.
When you guys are doing something unique, you're leading in that lane, but then we invite you to here so you can help promote that or whatever. So if we can find the right lanes and then just sort of everybody get in line with that, I think that will continue to help.
I was going to say, it's so nice to be here with all of you, and I think about, ASB and ABA and BEMA, all financial supporters of the Grain Foods Foundation, making the clinical research and what we do possible. Glenn, you and I can talk.
That means get out your checkbook.
But what we really seek to do is
Hold your wallet.
what we really seek to do is be in service of the industry. So just as you said, and you've talked about offering up the plates, you know, the various meetings. In fact, I think the Grain Foods Foundation has presented at the American Bakers Association conference at ASB, where we've made our scientific advisory board available to these organizations. They're really our powerhouse of thought leadership. And so that's what we try to do at the foundation, is serve the rest of you as you do such a terrific job leading the industry.
I think another thing we can do, there's so many events for the industry, and I've heard this, Kristen,
Yes.
as Kristen and I kind of entered at the same time into the industry, and I think there's so many events that people are like, gosh, there's so much to go to, right? And the cost becomes, you know, things cost money, and it takes time as well. So as we can work together to, you know, co-host or have GFF meetings, board meetings and so forth at our events and your events, and so just saving the industry time, because we're going to be together, and money.
Right, for sure.
By working together.
And that's what our customers, you, the audience, really want.
Yeah.
Is,
I'm going to keep going with the plate analogy that Kerwin started. It seems to have
I love it.
it's caught its stride. What's something on the plate of each association that maybe our audience doesn't know about? We all know the big thing or two about each association, but there are other things that we're each working on or trying to grow that are just maybe seeds that have been planted that they might not know about. I know that BEMA recently started regional dinners, completely different than this conference or Nexus or anything we had done before. So what else is on the offering plates here that the audience might not be aware of?
I'll go first. One of the really things that we're so excited about at the Grain Foods Foundation is a new study that we agreed. In fact, we're structured through our Research Pillars Council. So that's members of industry, investors who sit on the Research Pillars Council to help us decide where are we going to invest those research dollars to protect and promote the category. And so one of the studies that we just made the decision to get involved in is at Purdue University. And so it's a $1.5 million investment over 3 years, a very specific full feeding study. It'll be 12 weeks in length. The participants will be closely tracked. In fact, they'll be so closely tracked that they've all been given Fitbits, sponsored by Manel Milling, to really monitor how much exercise they're doing. So this is a very closely monitored research study that will really kind of measure the impact of grain foods on metabolic health. And so one of the things that we always talk about in the GFF space is that we really are playing the long game. The clinical research is a long-term investment, and all of you around the room are making decisions on a very fast basis for your company and your organizations. But when you're in the scientific community, things move so much slower. And so we hope to have the results from this study by the end of next year that will then generate some really great messaging that all of you can use at your companies and with your customers about the helpfulness and the importance of grains in a healthy diet. So we're really excited about that.
We talked a little bit about education, and we're all doing the same thing. We have this problem with finding new workers and then retaining them once we get them. And PMMI has always done work through its foundation to advance the careers of young people, and everything from scholarships and bringing people to the show so they can be exposed to the industry. But we always funded that ourselves, and we got to realize that everybody else is out there really going at it and creating innovative ways to raise money. And we discovered that not only our customers, our members were all interested in helping as well. So we've kind of gone the other way now, and we're looking for ways to improve how the foundation is able to fund these activities. Last year we did over $2.5 million that we gave back to members and to students in the form of scholarships and equipment donations to schools and things like that. So for the first time this year at the show, we're going to have a live auction. So we've got 60-some thousand people that are going to be able to bid on all kinds of things, and we've never tried that before. So we have so many people that are interested in giving back to the industry, and they all need the same thing. They need to find new talent and need to retain what they have, and this is a way we think we'll be able to really expand our reach and do more than we've done up to this point. So we're going to give that a try and see how it goes.
Wow. Love that.
I think in our space, really our goal of one of our strategic goals of having a higher level impact is something we're creating around our bakery playbook. Not sure how many of you know about our bakery playbook, but it's really getting deeper into the research area in consumer trends, and we're doing these quarterly. We're doing them within the baking category, but by segment of the category, for cookies, for crackers, for for bread, for buns, for rolls, for each different segment within the category, in the baking category. So that will be rolling out over the course of the next 12 months. We already have a few done and a few in the queue for cookies and donuts and tortillas and those kind of things. So really getting more depth for ABA and for our customer, as you said, our customers out here, Kerwin, our members, to give some more value proposition to membership and getting deeper in the research side.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we say a lot at ASB, we may be 100 years old, but I feel like we're just getting started. There's so many new initiatives that we have identified and opportunities and really on the rise. So you heard me just mention when we talked about a big goal for us is around the growth and the training aspect. So a mentoring program, we're doing a formal mentoring match program where we will take applications for both mentees and mentors, and they'll be matched up, and they'll have a cohort that they go through the program with for 6 to 8 months. And so this is a long game strategy as well for us, because while we've had informal mentoring programs, this true like formal matching program, well, they will get regular check-ins, they'll have a support system, and we as staff will help move them through the process, but the members will do the mentoring, of course. And you know, mentoring goes both ways, right? We always hear about people talking about that. One of the other areas that I don't know that people hear that much about ASB doing is we now have the old BISC. So the Bakery Industry Sanitation and Safety Committee is now, right, I know, thank you. So many lovely acronyms. I could, right? We are now BEAG, which is the Bakery Equipment Assessment Group. So ASB has been the secretariat for the Z50.1 and .2 committees for a long time, the standard there. And so now with BISC, BEAG, coming under our umbrella, we now offer the certification. So what we're doing with that now is to bring that standardization really out to education more. So we're taking it from the education standpoint, and we just launched, we're pressure testing it right now, and many of your companies have offered up beta testers for us. But what used to be a 2.5-day intensive course is now all delivered online, and you can get your certification at the end of that. So thanks to industry for supporting that. We've got some great leaders that are on the BEAG board of directors doing that work for us as well. So that's maybe something that you didn't know we were doing, but it's something we're very excited about.
I would say, again, probably Nexus, a little bit. Hopefully you do know about that, but we'll, hopefully you'll be coming back to that. And we've changed some things about that, some Spark sessions and things like that, trying to really listen to our customers and see what they want. And then a little bit of gathering stuff, like Emily said, we're doing these, we have a philosophy that we want to be where our customers are, where our members are. And so we will continue to do the regionals, and then we're gonna do something at PMMI where we gather. So many of our members and so many of our members' customers are at PEC Expo, and so we're going to have a little gathering. We haven't completely defined what that is, but we hope to see you there. Again, it's where the industry gathers. So.
Fantastic. So this is for Kristen and Eric. You're both about a year into your baking industry journey. What has resonated with you the most about this industry?
I wonder if we say the same thing.
We might.
We might. Go ahead.
I would say I was just at Aspire Bakeries a couple of days ago. Bill and I were over there, and this is going to be just the tenure of folks in the industry. Yeah. We were walking down where their employees come in, and they have the plaques of 20 years, 30 years, 35 years, 40 years, 45 years. And the bakeries that I go into is just continually talking about the tenure of the employees and how long people stay in the industry. And I think that resonates, and one of the things that sticks with me is once people are in this industry, they seem to just stay, which is a good sign for an industry, I think, that people enjoy it and make a career out of it. So we got to just keep enhancing that. But yeah. I think that, and then also the depth and the knowledge and the expertise of the people in the industry.
You probably could have answered anything and I would have said, yeah, me too. I mean, the list was really long. When we received this question, and people ask me this often, because I was so far outside of the industry, not in manufacturing at all. I am amazed constantly with the innovation and where art and science come together. That continues to inspire me. One of the reasons I got into association member service type work was because I could both serve and have an industry that I get to work in. And I mean, a complete change. I came from financial services over here, and most of my friends joke. They're like, "You went to banking, right?" I'm like, "No." Yes. Even though Google tries to correct me every I'm like, when are they going to get the hang of the fact that I'm actually not in banking and I'm in baking?
Kristen, the line is, it's a different kind of dough.
I love that. How have I not heard that, friends? I love that.
I didn't come up with that.
The innovation continues to inspire me. But yeah, I mean, seriously, there's anything, I'm guessing that if anything you would have said, I'd been like, yeah, it's so inspiring. You guys are just such a innovative, creative, and I know some people think that like baking is maybe slow to adapt. I mean, yes, it is an old art craft, but how you do it today and how do you manufacture? I mean, I'm constantly, when I eat your products, I'm just amazed at how it got to my plate. So thank you for all of that. That's amazing.
That's a lot for just a little over a year for both of you. So, I mean, the industry
went back to the whole plate metaphor.
Oh, I did. I brought it full circle.
There we go. Kerwin, Kelly, and Glenn, you've been in the industry for longer than a year. We won't say how long. We don't have to go there, but what's the most impactful to the three of you having been in the industry for quite some time?
I'm going to point it back that direction.
Wow. Most impactful about the baking industry? Mm-hmm. I think that one of your speakers said in the panel earlier that there's a certain amount of art in the business, mm-hmm. and I think I come from the industry, from the machinery side, so I see the technology and all the automation and the electronics and all this fancy stuff going on, but there's still a lot of black art in everything that's going on. It's in how the equipment is handled and the recipes, and especially in baking, how that's going on. And it's hard to pass that on sometimes. And I think that's one of the troubles we have with workforce, but that's something I know most about the baking industry.
Right. Mm-hmm. Seeing those pictures from the 70s, and people were doing it way back then, and we're still doing it today. Just the amount of collaboration. I get to work on the IBIE committee, and we have fierce competitors on that committee. 5 suppliers, 5 bakers, and the amount of collaboration in that group is unbelievable. And you see it here. You see competitors here, you see all that, and the ability to come together, help each other out, connect, whatever, is still just, I think, amazing, that still goes on today. So
I think it's so cool. I mean, when I go into bakeries to see the partners in the bakeries.
Right.
I mean, whether that's an OEM or an ingredient supplier or whatever it is, working together.
Joe said that a lot. He said it several times today, about we got to have partners. We got to do it together. That.
I think a lot of industries talk about partnerships, but you really see it every single day.
We even hear about it in the bakers, especially when supply chain was crazy, a motor or something. There was some helping out of competitors that was just unbelievable, that they were, hey, you don't have that, or can I help you out? That is just seems like unheard of in some industries, but there is that willingness to work together. Again, in the end of the day, you're competing, but there also is a great working together partnerships.
Mm-hmm. I think what's also important, particularly for these organizations at the table, is you're all consensus driven and you're member directed. I mean, I know with my experience in Washington, D.C., a lot of these trade organizations, the trade staff tells the members, here's what our priorities are going to be, here's what we're going to do. And I found that to be completely different in the baking industry, particularly at ABA and others, that it's so member driven and it's consensus. And so I think, voices together really make a bigger difference. So. For me, I've been in the industry for 22 years, and I asked my daughter this morning, I said, do I really look like I'm old enough to have been in the industry this long? And she said, yes you do. Yeah. So leave it to your honest. I know, right? But I would say, for me, the two things, and I spent some time at the American Bakers Association where I was hired originally, Consolidation has been a huge issue, a huge transformation over the years. When I first started, there were just so many more companies. And of course, there are pros and cons to that. I was raised in small business and have a really soft place in my heart for small business. I think it's the backbone of America. And I would also point to, in terms of a transformation, really just the headwinds against the industry in the nutrition space, the wellness space, the low-carb diets, keto, now we've got GLP-1s. You know, how is that going to impact our industry, and what are we doing in response? And you talked about innovation, Kristen, which is so important, and it's been really interesting to see, you know, how the industry has adapted and responded. But, you know, the work that the Grain Foods Foundation is doing, the rest of the folks on the stage, we've got a lot of headwinds coming down the pike. Ultra-processed foods, I mean, one thing after another, and you can speak to that better than I can, Eric, but from the GFF standpoint, you know, our goal is to arm the industry with as much sound science and goodness about grains that we can, because these issues are not going away.
That was wonderful. Thank you all for sharing. It is certainly BEMA's pleasure to host you all here and to work alongside you and your organizations and your teams. Thank you for sharing your platefuls of knowledge and offerings with our audience.
Good, Emily.
We had to do it one more time. We didn't even have lunch on plates, but you made up for it. Lunch is in a box, so it was wonderful. Let's give them a huge round of applause, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you guys.